In the Chinese zodiac, 2021 is the year of the bull, and so far, January has not disappointed. It's been one all-time high after another in terms of not only the total cryptocurrency market cap, but of course also in terms of Bitcoin, which has now peaked in the mid $34,000 range. Altcoins are also doing extremely well, and today we're going to be taking a look at VeChain up 24% in these last 24 hours. Litecoin up 15%, now sitting at $150. Ethereum up nearly 19% and now above the $900 mark where it's consolidating. We had a very interesting poll that we conducted in which we asked whether or not you guys would allocate $1 million into Bitcoin or Ethereum if you had to choose only one. And somewhat to my surprise, actually, the majority of you decided on Ethereum, perhaps because it's still undervalued, perhaps because it's still chasing its previous all-time high set about 3 years ago. How much longer until we hit $1,000 for Ethereum? How much longer until we break that $1,400 all-time high? We're going to discuss and celebrate the fact today that Bitcoin has turned 12 years old. I'm also going to give you guys my predictions because right now, of course, NASDAQ, traditional Wall Street markets are closed, but don't forget that GreenPro Capital as well as MicroStrategy closed their weeks off on Thursday. Actually, Friday was New Year's Day, but on Thursday, the markets closed and they both had a spectacular week. My thesis, my contention is that when the markets open again tomorrow on Monday morning, both of these companies are going to shoot up significantly in price. I'll give you guys a quantifiable prediction. So yes, 2021 is the year of the bull. Technically speaking, it's the Chinese ox, but I think those two are close enough. And certainly the sentiment this year so far has been bullish. Every day for me, opening up the news, opening up my portfolio, it's just building. It's getting better than the previous day. Subsequent incremental increases that just don't seem to disappoint. And I don't think there's any end in sight. We're going to take a look at that and break it down today. We asked a few hours ago whether or not you would allocate $1 million into either Bitcoin or Ethereum. And I was a little bit surprised, actually. I happen to agree with the majority here. 55% of you say you would allocate $1 million into Ethereum. And I think part of that is the fact that it's, in a relative sense, underperforming against Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin is leading the charge right now, but don't forget that Ethereum, even though we can celebrate the fact that it's now above $900, is still below its all-time high. That was set back in 2018, early 2018, January, in fact. So about 3 years ago, Ethereum's all-time high was $1,448. That was on the 12th of January, a Friday, 2018. And for this reason, I think in a relative sense right now, Ethereum has more room to grow. Even if Bitcoin gets into the range of 100,000, 2, 3, 400,000, I think Ethereum is going to be right behind Bitcoin. So a very interesting result there. I happen to agree with you guys in this case. I've always said I feel the value of the total Ethereum network is going to far surpass the value of Bitcoin in terms of Bitcoin's market cap. That doesn't necessarily translate to the token price of Ethereum, but it's also something worth considering. Anyways, if you haven't voted, I'd love to hear your opinion about this, and be sure to comment as well to join the discussion. We do want to celebrate, however, not to throw too much shade at Bitcoin, because of course it is Bitcoin's 12th birthday. Binance tweeting about it here. On this day, 12 years ago, Satoshi Nakamoto created the Bitcoin Genesis block, and without knowing it at the time, changed the world forever. Happy birthday, Bitcoin. Indeed, 12 years, it goes by quickly. It both seems like it's been more than that, and simultaneously it seems like it's been so rapid and so quick, and just 1 year has flowed into the next so quickly. CZ Binance reminding us not to be last, quoting Joseph Young here. Bitcoin daily volume on Binance just exceeded $5 billion. That's 5 billion with 9 zeros, and this is only Bitcoin to Tether. So we talk about it every day, guys. There are a lot of reasons to be bullish when it comes to this space, which is led by Bitcoin, of course. Plan B at 100 trillion USD, of course, known famously for a brilliant stock to flow model right now that is just playing out like clockwork when it comes to Bitcoin. He suggests that if history is any guide, we could see a $100,000 Bitcoin in about 3 to 8 months. And this is hardly being pulled out of thin air. It's based on historical precedents. When you map out the previous Bitcoin cycles, so from November 2012 to July 2012, of course not in absolute terms, but in relative price performance terms, as well as July 2016 to May 2020, we can get a sense of when those, in those two instances, those two cycles, we can get a sense of when those highs took place. And as you can see here, it's very clear that cyclical highs were reached somewhere in the span of 12 to approximately 18 months following Bitcoin's previous halvings. And of course, Bitcoin had a halving last year. It's not yet priced in. If we go by historical record, it's another 3 to 8 months until we see the next all-time high, the peak of this cycle, which conservatively Plan B lists as $100,000. Many people are suggesting that'll be quite a bit more than that. For some additional perspective, here we have Raoul Pal of Real Vision. While everyone seems to celebrate every single new Bitcoin high, let me remind you of where we are going. Nothing is a law of nature, but the log regression trend since inception makes sense to me contextually. I think the risk is people undershoot in their price targets. The halving runs tend to get between 1 and 2 standard deviations overbought versus trend, and it occurs usually around 18 months. This would give a rough price target between $400,000 and $1.2 million by the end of 2021. Again, not an exact science, but contextually accurate. It also always climbs a wall of fear. And in 2017, it was forks. They threw me off the trend back then. This time it feels like regulation and tether/stablecoins will create the wall of fear that the market climbs, throwing weak hands off. At every point, people will tell you it's insanity. It's due for a correction. It's overbought. Bad news is about to come out. And they're right. But the Bitcoin supermassive black hole don't care. It's going from here to somewhere up there, and how it gets there is irrelevant. But we can guess how long it takes to get there, and that makes it hugely attractive. And we have a decent probabilistic outcome from both price and time. It's just path we don't know. I still don't own enough, but have no cash currently to buy more and don't want leverage. Personally speaking, and this is just me subjectively, I'm lining up with Plan B here, not because I think $100,000 is the most accurate estimate. I actually think it's going to be in considerable excess of 100K at the peak of this upcoming cycle. But I like to align myself with conservative estimates. In other words, it's kind of like a camping mentality or a wilderness mindset, right? You hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst. And therefore, if I'm planning around $100,000 and that's what I'm working with in order to maximize my gains in these next 3 to 8 months, that's great. And anything beyond that, if it just so happens that we hit 200K, 400K or more, hey, the rest is just gravy. But that's my mindset right now. That's kind of how I'm attacking this problem with that conservative quantitative mindset. Let me know your thoughts about it in the discussion below. Comment below. Do you agree? Do you side more with Plan B? Do you side more with Raoul Pal? To be fair, we're all on the same page here. It's just a matter of kind of how you view the potential here in this upcoming cycle. Max Kaiser here talking more locally. We're about to hit my $35,000 hash rate adjusted Bitcoin target of $35,000, which he made last summer. We're coming up very close on that. In fact, we've just missed, in my opinion, $35,000. We kind of hit the high range of $34,000. So 35 is definitely, maybe by the time you're watching this video, we'll have hit $35,000 per Bitcoin. Max suggests that $42,000 is now in play. Here's some encouraging news from a bit of a different perspective. Deribit Exchange. So the folks over at Deribit apparently think the recent explosion in the price of Bitcoin from 21,000 to now over 34,000 in just over a month is a very positive sign. They're now offering traders the ability to bet on a rally to $200,000 by late December. Just in case, we added the 200K strike on the December 21st expiry. That's a very indirect, albeit indirect, but a very, very bullish signal indeed. Let's keep an eye on what the other exchanges are going to be up to in response to this. But now it's time to talk a little bit of altcoin news, beginning here with Litecoin. So we'd like to toast hashtag Litecoin, which just broke a 2-year high. And we are here now on the LTC USDT Binance Perpetual Futures chart for Litecoin on the 5-minute candles. We're comfortably consolidating here, right now kind of teetering, but we were comfortably consolidating above the $150 mark for Litecoin, which is up very significantly indeed, up over 14% in these last 24 hours. Really led by this charge that we've been seeing in Bitcoin, which has lifted up a whole bunch of other altcoins as well. I mentioned Ethereum at the top of the video. Ethereum now consolidating over $900. Really in the last 24 hours, you're looking at an increase in Ethereum's price of 120, maybe 130 or so dollars. So Ethereum up over 17% on the day, now trading at $904 as I record this video. It may be higher by the time you're watching. It may be lower. But the nice thing to note is that, late last night we broke through $800 with relative ease, now above $900. It could be by the time you're watching this video we're above $1,000, but that is inevitable in my opinion. As I mentioned, $1,448 is the all-time high for Ethereum. I am kind of feeling that once we break above the $1,000 barrier, and this has nothing to do with TA, but it's more of a psychological checkpoint. Once Ethereum breaks above $1,000 again, that is a very bullish signal to the market that we can go all the way and create new all-time highs. I think it's going to be relatively quick there between $1,000 and $1,448. We also have news about VeChain here. I shouldn't really say news, but VeChain performing extremely well, reaching a new local top of just over 2.6 cents, now trading at 2.3, about 2.4. VeChain performing extremely well. Same with TOMO. TOMO here trading at above 80 cents, so reaching a new local high, actually touched about 86 cents earlier in the morning, which is very impressive indeed. ADA Cardano also doing very nicely. None of these are at all-time highs, with the exception of Bitcoin, of course. Ethereum, not an all-time high. Litecoin, not yet at an all-time high. VeChain, same thing. TOMO, Cardano, all same. But these are local tops. These are local all-time highs in the span of the last few months. So that's very, very encouraging to see. Still very positive. All of these projects have tremendous upside because, of course, they're still chasing historical all-time highs. And so this price movement is very positive. Cardano here was up over 20 cents, now at about 19.2 cents. At the time of this recording. Okay, an ongoing theme here for these last few weeks has been the argument that individuals like Elon Musk, major Fortune 500 companies, CEOs, should be, for strategic reasons, moving Bitcoin into their balance sheets as number one, stores of value, and number two, investments, and number three, perhaps most importantly, hedges against US dollars, which, as Michael Saylor would put it, are like melting ice cubes in their treasuries. So GreenPro Capital here was among the latest to announce a $100 million Bitcoin fund, and they were rewarded big time in the traditional market space. So here's my contention. We've now had closed markets. I'm talking about Wall Street financial markets. They've been closed since Friday. Friday was January 1st, New Year's Day. So the markets have been suspended. There's no trading that happens on holidays or on the weekends. So GreenPro here closed at 6.22% above the previous day trade. But as you can see here, it was up massively over the course of the Sunday to Monday hours when the markets traded, because that's when investors caught a whiff of that news that they were investing in that $100 billion Bitcoin fund. My contention here is that GreenPro, along with any other company that associates itself with Bitcoin, even loosely, is going to continue to receive rewards, not only appreciation in terms of their Bitcoin investment, but also investment confidence on the part of their shareholders. So here we have GreenPro Capital at $2.05 per stock with a market cap of about $121 million. My belief is that we're going to see a solid 20% jump. I would expect the market cap of GreenPro Capital to reach $150 million total once the markets open on Monday. MicroStrategy similarly now at $388 with a 3.6 billion market cap. I think we can get above over 4.2. So a modest double-digit percent increase as the markets open on Monday, only because people have been seeing the wild success of Bitcoin this weekend, these first few days of January, going from the $29,000 range, blasting through $30,000, $31,000, $32,000, $33,000, $34,000. It may even be $35,000 by the time the markets open. It stands to reason that these investors, these mavericks, and I'm talking about the heads of the companies, so GreenPro's CEO, Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy, it stands to reason that these guys are going to be rewarded by the traditional markets for their visions, for their investments. Just my prediction. So a good 20% increase for GreenPro Capital and a good 10 to 15% for MicroStrategy. Tune in tomorrow. We'll take a look at the update there and we'll see if I'm correct. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comments below. Sia here with some news at Sia Tech HQ. On the 12th day of Skynet, we usher in the first day of 2021. I always am reminded of Terminator when I see the name Skynet, but maybe that's just me. I'm showing my age. Sia and Skynet will continue to fight for a freer, decentralized future for all. David Vorick shares more insight on the future of his new post, quote, decentralizing data ownership on portals. And you can check it out here on forum.sia.tech for more information. Polymath is in the news. At Polymath Network, we're thrilled to welcome Coinbase Custody to our growing ecosystem of more than 50 service providers. That's big news for Polymath, and you can read more about that on blog.polymath.network. Now we have a little bit of, I suppose, at the crossroads of institutional and government news, but it's still bullish overall. So as per the Cointelegraph article here, a new bill was filed on Thursday to create an office that will, quote, coordinate federal applications of blockchain technology. The bill would establish an office within the Department of Commerce to coordinate all non-defense related deployment and activities related to blockchain technology within the federal government. The United States Postal Service has filed a patent for a blockchain-based mail-in voting system. The co-chairman of the Blockchain Caucus told Cointelegraph in an interview that he hoped it would be put to use in the near future. And that's one side of the coin when it comes to positive institutional news. Here's another courtesy of CoinDesk Research. On-chain data is showing that big money continues to chase Bitcoin. I think that's something that we all knew intuitively, but it is important to validate those hunches with reliable quantitative statistical data. And that's what we're getting here. So it's a sign that institutions are catching the FOMO bug, fear of missing out. That's according to one particular analyst. You can check out that story here on Coindesk.com. But that's about it for today, everybody. So much happening in this space. And if you don't want to miss out on any updates, be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels: Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, and Twitter, of course. And keep checking back into our website, altcoinbuzz.io, for all the latest. Go ahead, like, subscribe, share, hit the bell, guys, to receive notifications if you enjoyed today's video. Best of luck if you choose to invest on this Sunday. Let me know your thoughts and your predictions about Ethereum. I think that we're going to see $1,000 Ethereum over the course of the coming week, and then I'll give it another week or so to hit new all-time highs. I'm actually quite bullish based on this most recent price movement. I don't see Bitcoin slowing down anytime soon either, so it's a very, very exciting time to be alive. Year of the Bull, definitely. Chinese Zodiac has gotten it right. So guys, once again, best of luck if you choose to invest. Stay safe out there, and as always, we hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.